Great, so you decided to become a writer. Now what? What do you do? What do you want to do? What should you do? Because when you start writing, you don't know anything about it. So, if you don't know anything about it, where do you start? You can look it up on the internet, you can look it up on TikTok, YouTube, I don't know if Twitch has some, masterclasses, courses, university. There's a lot of places, so I come here, humble servant of the gods, to give you some tips on how to start writing and how to develop once you start. Because you all have to start somewhere, and I remember when I started and I didn't know shit about it, and it was awfully difficult but also really fun. So yeah, I'm gonna give you some advice. So point number 1. On my extensive list of right now 8 things, I want to do 10 because 10 is a pretty number, but right now I have only 8 because I didn't think this through. Writing. Actually, sit down. You wanna write? Sit down and write. It doesn't matter like what are you writing about, what are you thinking about. You just sit down in front of your computer, whatever you want to write, just write, you know. Just do it. Because it's really easy to just stay back and say, oh, I'm gonna start writing, but when I get a good idea, or when I have inspiration, or when I feel like it, and it can be an excuse to not do it and actually stay put. Well, let's wait for the ambulance to go by. There we go. And you never do it. I used to do that. I used to say, well, I'm gonna write it someday. Not right now, not right now. And one day I just sat down and started writing and actually fell in love with it. So yeah, go ahead and write. It doesn't matter what is it about, or if you make a lot of mistakes, it's okay. Just go and do it. That's all you need to do. Just write. Point number 2. Oh, I just had it. Point number 2 of my extensive list of now 9 things, because I had an idea. It's actually point number 9, but I'm gonna move it like. Point number 2 is inspiration. I mentioned it. Point number 1. Inspiration is lovely. Okay, don't get me wrong. It may come in a huge wave of 5 hours, or maybe in a tiny wave of 10 minutes. But during those 5 hours or 10 minutes, you are a god. You write like a god, even though you may be a beginner or just a veteran. You write like a god, or that's how I feel. Like when I get inspiration, I just sit down and write some crazy good stuff. But the problem with inspiration and those huge, humongous waves is that they don't last forever. They just come and go. It's good, it's useful, but it's not a good method of writing. Just writing when you get inspired, because it doesn't work like that. No writer, I think, has inspiration 24/7. It's impossible. Not inspiration in the sense of, oh, I'm inspired to do it. Inspiration in the sense of like that huge rush of excitement and just love and passion that you get when you write. I know maybe for beginners you don't know when it's coming or how it's coming, and don't worry. I've been writing for 4 years almost, and I don't know when it's gonna come. It's just knocks on your door, punches you in the face, and you write. My waves of inspiration usually last 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, maybe. I don't time it, but I can tell, more or less. Don't wait for inspiration. Even though it's fantastic, just write when you have to write, or when you want to write. And inspiration is gonna come. I grab you by your throat, and it's gonna make you sit down and write. Point number 3. Burger King food letters. The last thing you want on your... Point number 3. Patience. Patience is key. It may be with writer's block or editing your book or your story. Don't focus so much on one thing and only one thing. To have patience to be able to write and don't edit as you go. Also, don't rush it. Don't rush your writing, because sometimes you push yourself so hard that you end up getting burnt out. It happened to me. Push yourself, but not till the point you burn out. Watch it. Be vigilant, because it can be really hard to get back, and it's painful. Nespresso, what else? Investigation experiment. This is one of my favorite key points and points to help your writing. It's better that way. So, as I was saying, let's say you want to write about swimming, but you don't know how to swim, or you've never been to the ocean, a lake, a river. Let's say you've never been into a body of water. You're perfectly fine with not doing it. You don't have to spend any money on investigation, experimentation, okay? It shouldn't be a requirement, and isn't. What I'm saying, or what I mean to say is, your writing, can be really good, but when you experiment on when you experience something, I don't know, whatever you like or whatever you like to write about, it's gonna make that feel more real, okay? It's gonna make your writing be more credible. It's gonna add weight to that. I think it's just one of the key points to writing better, just experience and going around for a walk and see the world and experience things, and it's gonna give you a ground to stand on. Point number 5, read. Reading is key for becoming a better writer. It will not only give you new ideas or new words to use that you didn't know, it's gonna just expand your horizons. And this is my humble recommendation: don't only read what you are comfortable with. You need to do that. You need to, because it's gonna open your mind and make you see things that you didn't see. I can't stress this enough. Like, a good author is a good reader. Reading is, I don't know, 60% of the writing. So buckle up, and if you don't like reading, I'm gonna suggest you take it slow. Start with something that you really like, and then move on to something outside your comfort zone. Point number 6. Put your work out there. I can't stress this enough. Put it out there. Okay? I know it's hard. I don't do it. I don't do it as much as I should. And it's important to put the work out there, because it's gonna make your work and yourself grow. People are gonna criticize you, they're gonna hate you maybe, but the important thing is that you put it out there. It's gonna force it to grow in a way that you can't make yourself, okay? You can do a lot of things to your book. Don't. I know what you're thinking, and do not do that. But the one thing you cannot do is make it grow the way that other people are gonna make it grow. Criticism that you're gonna take, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad advice, but it's gonna give you some brand new perspective on your book, because you're really used to seeing those words, those phrases, those chapters, and maybe it'll escape you some mistakes you make, or a plot hole that you didn't see before because you're too focused on the story and you're too drenched in it. It happens. It happens to everybody. Writing is a solo exercise sometimes, but growing your writing, it's not a solo exercise. Point number 7. Important. Rest. I don't mean go to sleep early, like you should. When you write, and you write, and you write, and you write, and maybe you write every day, or maybe you write once a week, you start to just erode all that wall of resistance to your own story. And if you just destroy that wall, you're gonna end up hating your story. Yeah, it's important to just watch for the wall, stay not far away, but stay away like a little bit. Also important, let your story simmer. Just grab your book, your manuscript, grab it, put it in a drawer, and just close that drawer with a key, and don't touch it. I know it may sound crazy and hard, but you're gonna start to forget those words, those phrases, and then when you go back, you're gonna find new mistakes, new things to edit. Let the book rest. Point number 8. Editing. Motherfuckers. Editing is important, it's vital for your story. You have to edit, but what you don't have to do is over edit. So how do you manage this? Well, let me tell you, it's hard. It's not impossible, but it's hard. What you shouldn't do, it's like edit every single phrase or word you write. Like you write a few paragraphs and then you go back and edit. No. Although it may seem like a good idea, maybe you're gonna just delete those paragraphs later. So just write a chapter and then go back and edit. Just have a healthy relationship with your editing. Outside your editing, you can do whatever you want with your relationships. Be healthy with your editing because it's gonna end up awfully. And also, ask for help when editing. Just go to your parents, go to your uncles, go to your friends. It's gonna help you, and it's gonna help your book. It's gonna put it out there with all the mistakes, but you're gonna grow from it, and that's painful. Point number 9, pre-writing. And I know it's gonna sound weird maybe, but the pre-writing phase of writing a book, it's wonderful, and actually it really helps you write faster and with less filler. What I do to pre-write is I grab my writing book, I sit down and I write about what's gonna happen in the next chapter before I write a chapter. Once I do that, I sit down and actually write it while looking at it, and I feel and I can see that I write faster. I put less filler in it, and it takes me a lot less energy and time. So it's a win-win situation, and I know it sounds annoying, but believe me when I tell you that it's not. To me it used to be annoying, but now it's just part of the job, I guess. It's just I sit down, pre-write, and after that I write. Because it's really easy to say, oh no, I'll do it, I have it in my head. It's easy to say that, but writing from scratch, it's a fun exercise, and it's a good exercise that all of us can practice, because it'll make you grow your improvisational skills. But it can be detrimental to your own writing. So to close this video, all my recommendations, all my 10 points, all of them are optional. You don't have to follow them. It's stuff that works for me. Maybe 5 points work for you, but maybe not all of them, or maybe none of them. Just when it comes to writing, there is no wrong way of writing. There is a wrong way to write a word, but not for writing. If it works for you, what I just talked about, great, take it. If it doesn't work for you, great too. Just find your key points, your 10 points, your 20 points, your bullet points, I don't know, whatever, find them. But the important thing is that if you wanted to start writing, just sit down and do it, because we don't have all the time in the world. Even though we might think we do, we don't. It's limited. If you want to do something, whatever it is, writing, swimming, painting, doing YouTube, do it. It's not gonna last forever. I'm not gonna be a writing channel, definitely. I'm just doing this to have fun, and writing is a big part of what makes my life fun. I'm here talking about writing, but next video is gonna be some bullshit style or whatever. I'm nervous actually. Why am I nervous? Neighbors. Why I am nervous.